Wrestling may be scripted, but sometimes the danger gets way too real. From career-ending injuries to near-death experiences live on pay-per-view, the squared circle has seen moments that left even the toughest fans speechless. These aren't just botches, they're terrifying times when the line between entertainment and reality vanished in an instant. First is David Arquette. In 2018, actor and former WCW champion David Arquette stepped into the world of hardcore wrestling in a death match against Nick Gage, an underground legend known for ultra-violence. What started as a wild spectacle turned terrifying when a broken light tube sliced Arquette's neck. Blood poured out as Arquette, clearly panicked, tried to end the match early. He finished the bout but was rushed to hospital immediately after. The incident left him shaken and nearly ended his return to wrestling. It was a brutal reminder that deathmatch wrestling is no joke, even for Hollywood. Next is Sid Vicious. At the WCW Sin pay-per-view in 2001, fans witnessed one of the most horrifying injuries in wrestling history, one that ultimately ended Sid Vicious' career. Attempting an uncharacteristic top rope big boot, Sid leapt off the second rope and landed awkwardly. The impact caused a gruesome compound fracture in his right leg, snapping it instantly on live TV. The sight of Sid writhing in agony shocked viewers around the world. Though fans held out hope for a comeback, it wasn't meant to be. He was rushed to the hospital and underwent major surgery, which included the insertion of a steel rod in his leg. Sadly, the injury marked the end for Sid's in-ring career. To this day, it remains one of the most brutal and unforgettable moments in wrestling. Next is Jerry Lawler. During a live episode of Monday Night Raw in 2012, Jerry the King Lawler suffered a sudden heart attack at the commentary table, right after calling a tag team match. WWE quickly cut to commercial and Michael Cole returned visibly shaken, updating viewers that Lawler had collapsed and was receiving CPR backstage. The broadcast continued in eerie silence. Thankfully, Lawler survived, thanks to fast medical response, but the incident remains one of the scariest moments in live wrestling history. Next is from SummerSlam 1997, Stone Cold vs. Owen Hart. At SummerSlam 1997, Stone Cold Steve Austin faced Owen Hart for the Intercontinental Championship in a match that turned terrifying. During a botched piledriver, Owen accidentally dropped Stone Cold directly onto his head, causing a serious neck injury and temporary paralysis. Despite barely being able to move, Austin somehow crawled over to pin Owen and win the match. The moment was real, scary, and nearly career-ending, a chilling reminder of how dangerous wrestling can be. Next is from the Great American Bash 2004. The main event of the Great American Bash 2004 was The Undertaker vs. the Dudley Boys. The match hit its bizarre peak, with Paul Bearer locked in a glass crypt as The Undertaker himself pulled the lever to encase his longtime manager in a vat of cement. While Bearer's screams and close-ups were pre-taped, a stunt double filled in for the live segment. WWE had chosen him because he claimed he could hold his breath underwater for an extended period. But as Bruce Pritchard later revealed in his podcast, that wasn't water. The fake concrete mix was far thicker, making it nearly impossible for the stuntman to breathe or stay calm. He hit the panic button almost immediately while the segment aired live, and nearly drowned live on pay-per-view. Backstage, chaos erupted, as no one could tell if the alarm was a fluke or a real emergency. Either way, it was a terrifying situation. Panic buttons exist for a reason, and in this case, it might have saved a life. Next is from Elimination Chamber 2010. Known for having one of the most iconic entrances in wrestling history, The Undertaker's arrival often rivaled the matches themselves. But at Elimination Chamber 2010, the theatrical entrance turned dangerously real when a pyro malfunction sent flames shooting directly at him. Trapped in the narrow entranceway, Undertaker had no chance to avoid the fireball and suffered second-degree burns. This wasn't just a scary moment, it was life-threatening. If not for his trademark hat and trench coat absorbing much of the blast, the flames could have hit his face and chest head-on, with potentially fatal consequences. Despite the burns, he wrestled the entire match, spending the opening minutes pouring water all over himself just to cool the scorched skin. Backstage he was furious, and rightfully so. The pyrotechnician responsible was immediately fired, but the damage had already been done. Undertaker had just competed with literal burn wounds, and still finished the job. Next is from Undertaker vs. Goldberg. While wrestling is always a two-man effort, in this instance, Undertaker was clearly on the receiving end of a disaster. We're talking about his infamous match against Goldberg at Super Showdown 2019. Things actually started off fine, with a few solid exchanges. But it all unraveled when Goldberg accidentally slammed his head into the ring post, suffering a concussion. From that point on, the match went off the rails. Despite being visibly dazed, Goldberg attempted to lift The Undertaker for his signature jackhammer. What followed was nearly a tragedy. Goldberg lost control mid-move and stumbled, dropped the Phenom dangerously close to landing on his head. It wasn't just a botch, it was a moment that could have ended a legendary career. Attempting such a high-risk move while concussed was incredibly reckless, and the match should have been called differently from that point on. Next is Brock Lesnar vs Kurt Angle. WWE headlined WrestleMania 19 with Brock Lesnar vs Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship, a technical showdown between two of the best amateur wrestlers in the company. The match was on its way to becoming a classic, showcasing both men in peak form, but one terrifying moment nearly derailed everything. In a shocking risk, Lesnar attempted a shooting star press, his first since his days in developmental. He under-rotated and landed awkwardly on his head and neck, missing Angle entirely. The cameras captured Lesnar dazed and barely able to stand. Somehow he managed to hit an F5 on instinct to secure the win. The moment became a reminder of how close WWE came to witnessing a catastrophic injury on the biggest stage. Next is Joey Mercury. WWE set up a chaotic 4-team ladder match for the Tag Team Championship, but it became infamous for one of the scariest real-life injuries in wrestling. Joey Mercury, representing Eminem, competed alongside Johnny Nitro against the Hardy Boys, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, and William Regal and Dave Taylor. During a high-risk spot, a ladder was launched straight into Mercury's face, causing immediate and severe swelling. His face was left brutally bruised, leading many fans to wonder if it was some kind of makeup effect, but the injury was very real. Mercury's health was in serious question, and he was rushed backstage for medical attention. And last is The Undertaker vs Mankind in Hell in a Cell. The Undertaker and Mankind's legendary Hell in a Cell match blurred the line between scripted entertainment and real danger. While WWE had planned the shocking first stunt, Undertaker tossing Mick Foley off the top of the cell through the announce table, the second major moment was completely unplanned. When Undertaker chokeslammed Foley onto the cage roof, no one expected the structure to give way. Foley crashed through the cage and landed hard on the ring, a fall that stunned even WWE officials. Despite the brutal impact, Foley pushed through and kept going, turning the chaos into one of the most iconic performances in wrestling history. Wrestling might be scripted, but as we've just seen, the risks are very real. These moments remind us that behind the characters, storylines, and drama, there are real people putting their bodies and sometimes their lives on the line for our entertainment. Which moment shook you the most? Let me know in the comments below.